by Limor Allen, the co-founder of Green Barrel Wines, and I've been looking forward to this session all day, frankly.
That's because you wanted to drink wine.
Absolutely. And it's always great to showcase the product when you're starting an interview with a co-founder. So why don't, if it's okay with you, I'll pour us a couple of glasses while
Sure.
you explain what Green Barrel Wines is.
Sure. So Green Barrel Wine is a local startup. We're here located in San Francisco on Treasure Island. And basically what we do is we bring high-end local boutique wine to the market minus all the bottling. So we get in early with winemakers and partner with them. And if they believe in sustainable winemaking practices, which means less packaging and adding very little to the wine, then we try to work with them on using our barrel dispensing system. Basically, what is inside of the barrel is a 9-liter pack, and we fill that as opposed to all the bottles, labels, foils, corks, things like that. And so just in shipping weight alone, we reduce almost half of a case.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I'll say cheers to that. So what are we drinking here?
This is a rosé. This is a 2009 from Winery SF. They're located right next to us on Treasure Island, so there's very little shipping cost.
Awesome.
And they custom make some wines for us.
Terrific. So one of the themes that we have here at creativeLIVE one of the main themes and things that we do is we provide access to the top experts in various fields, to the aspiring entrepreneurs who are on their way up. Providing access to Reid Hoffman and Guy Kawasaki in particular today. Gary Swart is still doing his presentation on the main stage. But we also want to show what it's like for someone who's in the process. So how long have you been doing Green Barrel Wines?
Officially, we've been on the market about 2 years. And we spent about a year before that kind of testing the market, pretending we had a business when we didn't, just trying to get out there and see if this concept actually was just a good idea in my garage, or if this was actually something that we could market and scale up for a lot of people to use.
My friend Noah Kagan kind of refers to some of those early, are we going to do this, or are we not going to do this stage as the wantrepreneur stage. Mm-hmm. Would you describe yourself as a prior wantrepreneur?
Yeah, I think I always kind of felt like I wanted to work for myself and really challenge more than just meetings all day and kind of following instruction. So I'd say I was always looking for something that interests me and a wantrepreneur.
Sure.
And it's really funny you mentioned him because right before coming here, I looked at his contest for going to Austin and his product, and so it's a good tie-in.
Yeah, he's actually also going to be coming to creativeLIVE in mid-July to do a one-day workshop on fear. Awesome guy. Like I really admire the stuff that he does. He's terrific. But so before you did Green Barrel, you were working in corporate America.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you were doing?
I had a totally randomly different jobs. I used to work in healthcare, and so I did proposal management. And before that, I was working in aerospace doing international contract negotiations.
Awesome. So very different, probably fairly well compensated though.
Yeah, better than now.
Sure. But at the same time, like you've chosen to go this direction, which right now isn't as lucrative, and we want to inspire people to pursue their passions and become entrepreneurs if that makes sense to them. But eyes wide open. Mm-hmm. It's not all unicorns and rainbows and sunshine.
No, I'm still. I think it's really hard to not compare yourself to others, and it's a good practice to compare yourself to others because it pushes you further. My huge aspirations when starting this, I thought we'd be way further than we are now. But then when you compare yourself to most startups, 2 years out, not being in debt, we self-funded it ourselves, and having control of the product and really starting a new market, I can't complain. It is going quite well, but in that 2 years, I think I'm finally burnt out of working 80-hour weeks, so I've reduced it a bit. But my goals of getting rich quick and working 20 hours a week haven't really materialized yet.
Sure. And that's important to recognize, that this is a really hard path, and people have to be ready for that. It's not as glamorous as the stories of Mark Zuckerberg and the Instagram folks make it seem.
Yeah, a big difference I'm learning is that I'm not in a technology field. I have a physical product, and to make any more of my product, I have to put out more capital. And one of the biggest challenges has been managing the capital with the level of growth that I would like to see. I'm very ambitious, and I would love to see us, fly through the roof on our growth, but I also would require a lot of funding to do that. So I've hands-on been in it, doing the welding, doing some of the work myself, not very well, but at least getting that experience in the background to where now I have a much better understanding of pushing what I need from suppliers and being really involved. So I really have never worked with a physical product like this.
Yeah, but it's awesome that you've taken the leap to do that. And we hear the story of the startup founder in technology who's emptying the wastebasket and cleaning the bathrooms. Here we have you who have taught yourself how to weld, essentially.
Right, and I also drink all the wine.
Right, so there's the upside to that as well.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit about your worst day as an entrepreneur? I think it's important to understand what the worst day looks like, because if you can survive the worst day, you have a lot better chance at more of those best days.
Right. The worst day would be a day of completely unsuccessful sales. I wouldn't say that I'm generally a salesperson. I mean, when I'm passionate and I care about something and it goes well, I'm having the best time ever. I wouldn't call that a salesperson, because a good salesperson can take a situation and maneuver it all around to be successful. So, I believe in the product and I love what we have. And so when I go there and put my heart on the line with someone else or a new client, and they're absolutely not happy with the wine, or they tell me this product is ridiculous and I'm never going to make it, it's a big blow. You get back in the car and you maybe shed a little tear, and then you get back out there. But a long, hard day of unsuccessful sales is really rough.
It's pretty tough. Because you'd never done sales prior to starting this business.
I mean, there's a bit of sales and everything, right?
Sure.
So being a contract negotiator, there was a level of sales, and proposal management, there was a level of it, but not cold, hard, door-to-door, walk into a bar and carry my barrel and like carry all my stuff out. That's pretty rough.
Yeah, and how have you been able to learn how to do that? Like overcome the fear of walking into a new place and saying, "Hi, this is my wine in a barrel."
Sometimes I have a glass of wine before sales.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't recommend that for everybody. But really, it's a personal pep talk. I think we've touched on this before. I'm the kind of person that I talk about my goals out loud, and then that way, when it comes to doing it, I have no choice. I've said it to someone else, and I've made it real. So with sales, it's kind of the same thing. I sit in the car, and I'm like, all right, you just got to go do it. You told them you'd show up. You set up an appointment. You've got wine in the car. And you just kind of get through it. And, over time, it's become easier. And actually, over time, people have really driven their understanding of this product. I would say a couple years ago, the market was slightly uneducated on wine on tap, as well as using completely alternative packaging and what that would do to the wine. And now the market's more educated, and they're calling me back, the same places that were kind of saying no.
That's great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I personally love it. It reminds me of my heritage. Like, I come from an Italian family, and my grandfather made wine, and it comes out of a barrel when you're over in Italy, and it's a great thing. Talk to me a little bit about your brand, because that's not something that necessarily Americans are familiar with, like the whole wine on tap, wine out of a barrel, or, God forbid, wine in a box.
Right. Eco-pack.
Eco-pack, right. Eco-pack.
That's kind of, I have a very international background growing up and have done a lot of traveling, and that's really where we came up, my business partner and I, with this idea. You can go to the markets in Europe and bring your reusable growler, and you fill up a bunch of wine for the week. Like in Italy, this is very big. You spend very little, maybe 10 euros, and you walk away with it, and you have wine on the table for the week, and it's quality wine.
Yeah. That comes home in a jug. A growler is a
jug,
like
yes.
a gallon jug.
Yeah, and you clean it yourself, you bring it there, you fill it up and take it home. And that was kind of where we started originating with this idea. Like, wow, there's so much waste for just the wine I want at dinner on the table when I'm not opening up my really fancy bottle. And so that kind of started it. And then as we went down the process of going through, we were going to put keg lines through this and all these more cumbersome ideas, and really simple is better. We were like, wow, if we use the technology that's out there, unfortunately, in the US, it has a negative connotation due to the Franzias and whatnot, but it's what you put in it. So we're like, wow, we could put something in this that stays fresh for 4 weeks once you open it. And as long as you want to consume it within a year, this isn't, the bottle I'm going to hold on to for 8 years in my cellar.
Right.
This is, and it's ready now. Like what we're drinking is a 2009. So a lot of people also assumed our wine would be young, but it's really what you put in it and when you package it.
Right.
So us working very closely with the wineries, we ended up finding all these other benefits, like it's cheaper, it stays fresh by the glass, and there's all these new markets it opened up for us that we were really able to kind of go out there and test and pursue. And what's been really fascinating is the consumer market, the end user, they're the people really driving this new technology, and they're opening up their mind like, yeah, I'm willing to try this, where some of the winemakers very stuck in one model or another, like, oh, no one will buy this.
Yeah.
So it's actually not true. Some people are buying this.
Yeah, well, I actually bought this for, we threw an opening event party to welcome the San Francisco community into Creative Live in a physical manner, and our event planner suggested your Green Barrel wines, and skeptic right off the bat. I'm like, I'm going to serve wine out of a barrel at a party for a bunch of, uppity valley folks. They're not really that uppity, but, this is an area of the world where quality wine is highly valued by the consumer set. So I was really skeptical, and we met, I sampled your product, and found a red and a white that I thought were spectacular. In fact, they went faster than anything else last night at the party, which was pretty great. I want to go back to, you talked a lot about the packaging, the eco-friendliness. That's a value that's really important to you, clearly. And we've heard from other presenters about how having a values-driven business makes it easier to get up and go to work in the morning because it's something you believe in. Can you talk about how, some of the, not in addition to the eco-friendly situation, some of the other values that, that keep you going on a daily basis? Personal freedom, I think you've mentioned.
Yeah, with starting this, I worked for the large companies and been climbing the corporate ladder and, really trying to keep in with the vision and focus of the companies. But what I really wanted to feel was close and personal to a product. Like I'd mentioned, a physical product, touching something and making something out of it has been really rewarding in life. And then also, I believe in the local movement of, we've got amazing wine right here. Why are we shipping it all over the world for your table wine and not using all our resources? I believe in the local food movement. And also, what I've learned from doing this is we should be focusing more on packaging. Packaging on everything is gonna be a waste at times.
Sure.
So I've had some opportunities to partner with certain people and go big and go cheaper wine, and I really want to believe in what we put on the market. I stand behind every single one of the wines we select. I go through 2 panels of tasting. I would be the first panel.
I do as well.
Yeah, so I wanted to believe in something. I wanted to feel connected and close to it and feel like I'm shaping the market. This has exceeded my expectations of all of that. The fact that I'm learning every day about new benefits or ways I can influence and enter other markets, it's really exciting. And I wanted something innovative, and you almost think, well, what could be so innovative about wine? Wine has been out there forever. And had I been hitting the streets with another good wine, there's thousands of good wines around. So really, this product differentiated us in the market. And even though I think I could go really large scale and cheap wine, I wouldn't believe in it.
Right.
And I've been resistant of that.
That's terrific. So what advice would you have for either aspiring entrepreneurs or people who, like yourself, are still early or mid-stage?
I've seen a lot of advice out there that says, don't spend all your time on business cards and websites and all this, and I've been pushed in many directions by a lot of people that I need to be more techie. You need to go out there and ask people what they think about the product and say yes to everything. That was kind of what I started doing, was just saying, yeah, we can do that, and then I'd go home and be like, how do I do that? But you're going to figure it out when the pressure's on. And I feel really inspired by people who come to this country and try things and open businesses and barely speak the language and don't understand the legal system. And I started thinking more and more about that, and I was like, I should take the risk too. Like, what do I have to lose? The worst case scenario is it doesn't work or isn't wildly successful, but I gained a lot, and I'm now forever changed as an employee to myself, employee to others. I don't think I can sit there again and take orders and be told what to do when I don't believe in it.
Yeah.
So, be an agent of change, and if you think you've got something, just try. Go tell everyone you're going to do it. Go to the market with I'm embarrassed to even tell you the sample I used to walk around with that didn't look anything like this. Pull some wines out from behind and, test with people, and they're going to be your best market. I get advice at every event I do, whether I want it or not.
Right. But you early on created stakes for yourself. You told your community, hey, I'm going to try and start this wine thing. And that sort of, people would start asking you about it. And that would create, sort of a little bit of social pressure to do the thing you said you were going to do. Then you get out there and you actually took the product, put it in front of people and said, what do you think about this? You tested it. You got some negative feedback on some stuff. So you pitched that, went back, tried something new. You looked at a bunch of different delivery mechanisms and you decided, hey, this simple eco pack, don't need keg lines, it really works. And then you got out there and you sold the crap out of it every single day going to different bars. And I just think that's a really inspiring story. And, in my opinion, the most important thing about an education is how it changes us. And you've just said that, over the past few years, you've been dramatically changed by the self-education that you've essentially given yourself. And I think that's incredibly inspiring.
Thank you.
So I know I just sort of like rambled on there about how awesome you are, and maybe it's the wine kicking in, but let's give a big round of applause to Limor Allen.
Thanks, guys.